from the from the Chamber of Commerce. We'll first have our Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Slater.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our prayer, please.
Let's pray. Father, we're so grateful together on this Monday. Father, I'm so grateful for the men and women who represent our county here today in multifaceted ways. God, we just pray that you would bless this meeting today. God, that you, by your Spirit, would lead and guide each and every decision. And God, that you continue to show your favor and bless Bradley County in such a way that you have not just for a few days or a few months, but for many years. So, Father, we pray that everything that's said and done today would bring honor and glory to your name. And that, Father, that we would recognize that it is truly your hand at work through us, and so that we would walk in obedience to what you ask us to do. We pray and ask these things today in Jesus' name.
Amen. I forgot to introduce him. He's the Associate Pastor Paul Davis of Westwood Baptist Church. Thank you very much, sir. The next item is report from the county mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, everyone. We have some guests with us, 3 of the 5 people. If you recall, about a year ago, a little over a year ago, Cleveland State agreed to start a new scholarship program for paramedics, and they named it the Danny Lawson Scholarship. And that first year, 5 of our EMTs went through the program, completed the program just this past month. 4 of them are supposed to be here, but one's running late. We've got 3 of them here this morning, and I wanted to introduce them to you at this time. These 3 plus another one have already passed their licensure, so their licensed paramedics are actually on the job this week, I believe. One more completed the program and is yet to take the test. We'll be taking it in the very near future. But these 3, Amber Frady, she began as Bradley County Emergency Medical Service as a part-time basic EMT in July of 2020, I think. She obtained her AEMT in July of 21. She became a full-time employee the very next month and began her year-long journey into paramedic school. Ms. Frady was one of the first recipients of the Danny Lawson Scholarship Award. Ms. Frady continued to work full-time and pick up extra shifts all while attending the paramedic program at Cleveland State. Just attending the program is brutal, but being able to maintain both and excel in the program is as tough as it gets. We just want to say, Amber, congratulations and welcome you. You already were a member of the family, but now a member of the paramedic family with Bradley County EMS. Tyler Clayton, he began as a EMS employee as a part-time advanced EMT in January of 2019. Prior to joining, Mr. Clayton worked for an entertainment company as a real-life acrobat. Mr. Clayton was moved to full-time status in October of 19. He was also one of the first recipients of the Danny Lawson Scholarship Award. He, too, worked full-time the entire time while attending the paramedic program at Cleveland State. Congratulations, Tyler. Brittany Roberts. Brittany began as an EMS as a full-time basic EMT in June of 2019. She not only worked full-time and completed her advanced EMT school, but she also dove straight into the paramedic program, all the while continuing to work her full-time shift. She also worked some special events while attending the paramedic program at Cleveland State. Now a licensed paramedic. Congratulations, Brittany. 2 others, one other that's supposed to be here today, Rachel Hisney. She began in October of 21 as an AEMT. She was already enrolled in the paramedic program at Cleveland State. She left another service and stated, I wish she was here. She stated she always wanted to work for Bradley County EMS because of our outstanding protocols. She worked very hard during her part-time period and gained full-time status in November of 21. Ms. Hisney also continued to work her full-time shift while attending the paramedic program at Cleveland State. So we too want to congratulate her. The paramedic program is 1 calendar year long, starting in August and ending in August. It is one of the most challenging years of a person's life. The fact that these employees worked their full-time jobs and was able to complete the paramedic program successfully is a true testament to their calling and desire to serve the citizens of Bradley County. BCEMS has one more full-time employee who has completed the paramedic program and is awaiting to take the licensure test. Bradley County currently has 2 full-time AEMTs enrolled in the Falls paramedic program at Cleveland State, also receiving the Danny Lawson Scholarship Award. So we congratulate these 5 for completing the program this year. We've got 2 more in there this next year, and hopefully they'll complete and pass the licensure next year. And hopefully everyone will continue to encourage people to become part of the paramedic program at Cleveland State, because we desperately need these employees. So I think we all should give them a big hand and welcome them. Thank you, and I think they're all off today, so they're here. Are you working today? Okay. We appreciate you being here. We really do. I need to pass out a resolution to put on the agenda for next week. If you'd hurriedly pass that around, I'll go ahead and read parts of it while it's coming around. It's a resolution authorizing the county mayor to negotiate and enter into a subscription agreement for a period of 3 years with Regroup for public emergency notification software for use by the Bradley County Emergency Management Agency for an amount not to exceed $9,429.45 per year. We're asking you to approve this because by doing a 3-year resolution, we lock the price in at about $3,000 a year savings. So respectfully ask that someone put this on the agenda for next week.
Mr. Chairman, I'll carry that for him.
Commissioner Hughes, I had a backup with Commissioner Slater, but you were first.
Another resolution coming around, and a few comments I'd like to make concerning last week's announcement. It's repeating news, but I think it's worth repeating. The broadband announcement from last week. You know, sometimes commissioners ask me why we don't get more grants, why we don't have a grant writer, and usually my comment is we have so many grants now that the challenge is keeping up with the various grants, because we do have a lot of grants. But in thinking about it over the last year or two since I started getting those questions, I think that my downfall has been I don't make a big enough deal out of grants. Last week's announcement really should have been a time of celebration. I think from memory, the largest announcement, the largest amount of money coming to the people of Bradley County, $8 million, $8 million grant coming to the people of Bradley County for broadband expansion in our community. That's unheard of, ladies and gentlemen. And it kind of got watered down with 2 hours of discussion about future expenditures. This $8 million grant, and it only costs us 10%, and I'm rounding everything, but $8 million grant, and we only have to match it with a 10%, $800,000 match. So an $8 million grant, right it on the wall, probably the largest grant that's ever come to the people of Bradley County, and we should all be very proud and celebrate this moment. Just a little bit about the future. We do plan on applying for a next round of grants if they offer them. But explain the timeline. If they allow 2 years for this grant to be done, that puts us into 24. I can't say for sure that there'll be another round of grants because that's going to put us right at the deadline of 26. But hopefully there will be, because that's our best bang for the buck. But we will be waiting to see if the state does that again next year. If they do, we will be there applying for those other 2 areas that weren't funded this year. This is a competitive grant, and spreading it all across the state, we got about half of what we requested, an $18 million grant, and we got an $8 million grant. So it's wonderful news. We'll be sitting ready, waiting to go with another round of grant application if and when that becomes available in the near future. But I just wanted to mention once again this wonderful news that I don't think we have really thought enough about it and made a big enough deal out of it. But I challenge you to find another grant that's over $8 million that has come to the people of Bradley County. So wonderful news for our community. We need a lot more on this subject, and hopefully we'll get a lot more in the near future. Unless someone has a question for me, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone have a question? Yes, Commissioner Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, if nobody else will put it on there, I'll be happy to put that on there for next week. Mayor, I know you would have mentioned it, but the second allotment of our 10.5, is there, here we are, what, mid-September? Are they running late, or?
We should, I hesitate to put a timeline on the federal government, but it has been requested, and we probably will get
Sure.
it sometime this month.
That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. That goes, these new people goes a long way on the staffing at emergency services, and this is a great program, and we just really need to advertise it more because we have a heck of a turnover over there, and it's great to have the mayor back. He had a little bout with COVID, I believe, but he did watch the meeting on live stream. I have a comment to make before I go around the horn here. After the last meeting, I was contacted by two individuals who watched the meeting live stream and one inside the commission room who stated there was continuous texting from three commissioners with the mayor's assistant. I feel this shows a lack of decorum and professionalism. I remind everyone that the 14 commissioners conduct the commission business. I also remind everyone this potentially opens their phone up for open records requests. And if you don't think I'm joking, there are people that have had that done. So I just caution you, be careful. And we'll start with Commissioner Beatty on the right-hand side.
I think our district's in good.
Commissioner Hughes.
Mr. Chairman, I have nothing to report today.
We're moving right along here. Commissioner Arnold.
Second district's doing well.
Thank you. Commissioner Nyland.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Milan, yeah. I thank you, Mr. Chairman. All is well in the third district. I would like to bring everyone's attention that the HCI program is getting ready to go underway. We just got the numbers the other day. We need to fine tune them with the finance director. But once we get that, Lori will call the HCI committee to order and give them, quote unquote, their marching orders. So this is about when we start doing that process. So if you know any of your organizations in your districts or in Bradley County as a whole, pay attention. I believe we'll have a workshop and go through our normal process that we normally do every year, but the HCI process will be starting here in the next couple of weeks. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir, Mr. Thompson, Commissioner Thompson.
We move that HCI, finance committee.
I don't have an answer for you at this time, Commissioner Thompson, but if that's the commission's pleasure at some point in time, but as of right now, we have a committee and we're going to get them giving them their assignment and go to work. But in the future, if that's the direction of this commission, I'm all for it.
You want to?
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Winters had a remark to make.
Yes, I think this was established to take the commission out of the initial presentation by the nonprofits and have them break it down so that we would not have to do it by district. If we had a nonprofit in my district, I would be preferential for that one, you and yours. And all, so I think that's why it was pulled from us to deal with the initial part, that this group would do a recommendation. And then if we want, and I think 8.
There's how many
Do
committees?
they usually have 8? How many? 7? Yeah. Yeah. So our districts are generally represented by people we put on there, but then we can make the final decision and it comes back to all of us. There's a point in time we wouldn't want to, if 2 or 3 came in through my district, I would be wanting to support all 3, me. But it takes the district out of it for a period of time to let it be looked at on what's best for all the public. So I think that's why it was established, not just to take it away from the commission, but that the commission at the end could speak up for our vested interest of our districts. Because obviously, 7th District, I'm concerned about a group that would come from there, and you would for the 4th, and vice versa, for all of us. So I think that was how it originally set up. If you remember back, I think that's what we were trying to do, is just put it in the hands of people that we felt that were knowledgeable about this even more than us. I could put somebody from the 7th District that does mine that is more knowledgeable about the nonprofits and what's needed for the community, and then they have a word from me. I think that's what we are. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I remember. That was through that.
Yeah. Right.
Time. Control the grant.
Mhm.
Just them forever. Into
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I was selected for the HCI, and I forget when it was, but Louis Alford is the one that originated that HCI committee because he was wanting to take that burden off of the commission where they wouldn't have to do it. Roy Smith and Mel Griffith put me on that HCI. We have a great group of people that's on the HCI committee that does well with this. Lori is always there with us, and I think we do a great job with the HCI. But of course, now that I'm on the commission, I was still going to stay on the HCI if it was, possible to do so. But I will have to defend the HCI committee members. Those are a great group of people that were chosen by each of you, plus the 2 from Gary. So that's my piece on it.
Thank you very much. Do you have anything else on that subject?
Mr. Chairman?
have a thing to say about that.
It's your prerogative to ask or request to be put on the voting agenda. I remind everyone to hit the button here, the red, so people outside the commission can hear us. Commissioner Collins, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner Blake.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Real quick, back to the HCI. Keep in mind that this committee made up of civilians like Vice Chairman Winters, I got used to that.
Thank you.
Mentioned though, all they do, and Commissioner Leffler can attest, is we tell them how much money we have, which we'll do here in a couple of days. They start the process of applications and all that kind of stuff. And basically all they do is review the applications and basically award an amount to the project and in a priority order and make a formal recommendation back to the commission. We had the final say so, and we made some adjustments last year, minor adjustments. But all they do is mentioned before, is the legwork. A lot of legwork. They meet about 4 or 5 times. They meet with the applicants and go over the projects, and they have the history of the projects and stuff like that. So the old saying is, be careful what you ask for, you might get it. They do a lot of work, but we have the ultimate say-so. Just keep that in mind. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Collins.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just everything's great in District 3. I want to take an opportunity to express appreciation to you and to Commissioner Alford for the work on something I know that's pressing with some of our citizens in terms of Sunset Cemetery. I know we've all gotten emails about the situation there, and I think Mr. Chairman, you and Commissioner Alford have done a great job in pursuing that and making sure that those individuals are doing what they need to do. And I know that's important to a lot of us. My grandfather is buried at Sunset, and I know some of our family members are as well. So I appreciate you guys doing an awesome job with that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think Commissioner Winters shortly will have more to say on it, but we had the state man down last week, took a 14-page deposition, and I'll let Commissioner Winters look into that. It's been my experience in life, only that gets corrected, which somebody has to pay attention to. And there's nothing more critical, really, in this county than where our loved ones are buried. and we have a responsibility to take care of it, and Commissioner Alford has certainly been actively involved in that. The next on the...
Chairman?
Yes.
You don't mind recognizing?
Oh, I'd love to recognize you, yes, sir.
Going back to HCI just for a second, I understand there's been some movement. There's some people not in their district now anymore. So before we do anything, start meeting as a committee, I think we need to update the committee. I know there's some new people, and there's some people out of their zone now and everything else. So I think it needs to be seriously looked at before we move on into meeting with committees.
Good point. We can work on that real quick. Commissioner Winters, sir.
I have an opportunity to follow up on what Commissioner Alford and Commissioner Cry have been doing on the nursing homes. My parents are both there. I went up this past week to check their graves, and I can give a very good report that a tremendous amount of work has been done in the past week to mow that property, clean that up. What I also heard from individuals that the head markers have been placed. So I think the work that you mentioned that has been done, Mr. Chairman, has reaped a benefit. There is a gentleman and his wife and daughter that are employed at the cemetery. And I met Mr. Barnhart today. He was in the middle of working, picking up paper, getting it out so they could mow it today. So there is movement that's happened, I think, because there's been movement by this commission, go through the DA's office, as well as I think the regional office in Atlanta has been looking at this. Our key concern is the perpetual funding of this. None of us here want the public to have to deal with a perpetual fund forever and ever and ever. This should be the individual that made a livelihood out of it. Happens to be out of state. But a lot of good work's been done. I left that gentleman that was going to be, he had been working to mow the one on South Lee Highway, but it had been so wet he hadn't been able to actually complete his work. So they were over there today doing that. So I think work has been done to this point, but I think something's got to give to make sure it's sustainable, to make sure it happens a long time, and that's the game plan. But and let me also say, this Bradley County EMS program that went through Cleveland State was really birthed through our first responder committee. Kudos to our chairman over here that made that possible, where we began to think, how could we actually build this program? Paramedics, because there was 12 that was not being available. So this is a birthing of a great program, and Dr. Seymour and his team, Mr. Squires over there, jumped at this opportunity to be of service to the community, and I think made the scholarships happen. So to see these young people that have given themselves to this, it's great. So congratulations. Finally, if you didn't go to this deal, Danny Murray and Voices of Lee, Mayor was there. I was able to be there. Several of you, I hope, were able to attend. It's going to be, you can see it on the tube, on the computer. But this was just a little bit of heaven that was in Pangle Hall by Danny Murray, his team that had been working over almost 50 years. So it was a great evening. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice Chairman. Next is Commissioner Gilbert.
Yes, I was at the Bradley County School Board meeting the other night, and they set the agenda of their whole meeting by saying the prayer first. And I really it just touched me, and I thought, wow, they're putting him first, putting God first up front. And I just want to commend you on that. And I would like to ask the chair of the Policy and Procedures if there's any possible way that we could actually turn ours around to saying the prayer and then the Pledge of Allegiance. But I just really was pleased with the school board, the way they handled that. And like I said, it set the whole tone of the whole meeting. And I appreciate Bradley County for that. And I went to the high school football game, and I watched a young man just nail this running back. And then he turned right around and picked him up off the ground. somebody had talked about that the other day. Sportsmanship, being kind to one another. That's what we need. And I appreciate that. I don't know about how I'm going to do that, Chair. If you would look into that for me, please, I would sure would appreciate it. Everybody in the 4th District is doing great.
Thank you very much. We'll get something moving on that. Commissioner Thompson.
Scott said enough. Everything else okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Goins.
The 5th District's getting a brand new sidewalk down Wildwood. Now, if they would just come along and fix the road that, the utility companies butchered up, it would be a lot better down through there. But it's pretty rough for about a half a mile. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Slater.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to congratulate the Bradley County Fire and Rescue Department for being honored by the State Fire Marshal Office as one of the top 10 smoke alarm installators in the past 10 years of the program Get Alarmed Tennessee. I don't believe that we recognize our Bradley County Fire and Rescue, our EMS, or our Sheriff's Department employees enough for the work that they do each and every day as being the unsung heroes of our community. So hats off to them for going above and beyond and installing fire alarms in countless homes throughout Bradley County and Cleveland. That's all I have, sir.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Mason.
Thank you, Chairman. A couple things today. 6 districts doing well. The Bradley County Sheriff's TDOT litter grant for the month of August 2022. County roadsides, 348 miles. State roadsides, 132. And city roadsides, 57, for a total of 13,960 pounds of litter for the month of August. And we also recycled 1,275 pounds of recycled materials. And as always, I want to thank Missy Harrison, Thomas Bell, and Sheriff Lawson for always being behind me on this. I could not do it without them. They're the go-getters and the shakers that make me look really good. And the second thing today is Saturday is the tire take back. This is going to be put on with Keep America Beautiful. They're in charge of this. I'll be out there. I'll have plenty of workers out there. And anyone else that wants to come out, come on out. I do ask everyone to clean up your tires. If you're bringing them by, you can bring up to 8 tires per household. So if you've got some old tires you want to get rid of, instead of calling me about it, you can bring them over Saturday morning from 8 to 12, and we'll be there. That's all I have, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Some of this litter on the side of the road can be attributed to our landfill not taking cash when these people go up there. Last week at the beginning, they had not started taking cash. Does anyone know if they are or not yet? Well, I'll be over there to check, but I'm sure they're not. But I appreciate it, Commissioner Mason. Commissioner Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, Mr. Mayor, I hope you recovered well. I know you had COVID. Hope all's well with that. I also went to a school board meeting. It was real good. Hope we can work closely with those folks over there at the school board for our children. To me, are number one for education. We want those children educated, and I think, Mr. Chairman, you're adamant about that also. And yesterday, I attended the 9/11 ceremony over at the Oaks Lodge. Tim was there. I think Mr. Gilbert was there. That was really nice. They talked about something that kind of touched me: unification. Unify. As a commission, I think we all need to unify, and I think we do. And 190 more meetings. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Ledford. I applaud your math skills. I'll just put one point before I'll turn it to the next commissioner. Education is the foundation. If we properly educate these children at the beginning, we won't have them over here in the county jail. In all likelihood, they'll have a job and they'll be taken care of. I am passionate. Thank you, Commissioner Ledford, for recognizing that. But we have to stay on top of education. Commissioner Rogers, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This past week was an amazing week in the Rogers household. Last week, our family became complete. Let me be the first to introduce all of you to Ivy Rose Rogers and Violet Sophiana Rogers. Last week, I was able to adopt my 2 daughters and cannot be more thankful and proud. I know that they will watch the rerun of this meeting, and so let me say to them that I love you, and I am more proud and happy that our family is whole and officially the Rogers. We got to spend last Thursday with all of our family and friends, and we were thankful that everyone was there. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 24, during the 30 sayings of the wise, it says, "By wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. By knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches." And in our house now, our rooms are filled forevermore with these 2 precious and pleasant riches. On to county business real quick. As all of you know, yesterday was September 11th. And yesterday we all took time to remember, honor, and cherish the lives that were lost on September 11th, 2001. 2,977. 60 of those were police and Port Authority officers. 343 were firefighters and EMS. Yesterday, members of the local Bradley County Fire Department participated in the 9/11 stair climb to honor those that gave their lives to save others on that day in New York and in Washington. I hope that we never forget the sacrifices that were made that day and the years to come by so many Americans. I want to personally say thank you to all the first responders from fire, EMS, and the sheriff's office, with the sheriff being here today, that every day put their lives on the line to protect our county. Thank you for your service and dedication to our community, and thank you for keeping us safe and protected. And may we never forget those who gave all on that September day. And that's all I have.
Oh, thank you very much, Commissioner Rogers. Yes, Commissioner Thompson.
I got one other thing, Mr. Chairman, that I didn't bring up. And here, a few meetings ago, we had a vote that said that all committees would meet right here in this room. And, you know, since the new commission got on and some of the people that's over different departments have suggested, I'll take one for instance, it's the road department. They've always had their meeting out there, then after the meeting, while they go out and look at areas that they have talked about during the meeting. And sometimes working till 3 and 4 o'clock in the evening. Well, we need to be out there, and that's what he would like, for us to be there. And that's the same way with the sheriff department or anything else. You know, I think that the chairman of those committees should make that decision where to have their meetings at, and not just specify that it's got to be right here in this room. So anyway, I guess we'll have to have a motion and a voting meeting to bring that back to life. But anyway, the way it is now, it said it would make it more transparent, but sometimes these people that's over these departments, they like for you to be there because they have all the information anyway that you need to go back to if you want to. So I'll probably like to put that on the next voting meeting to bring that back to life, and let's see what the commission thinks about it.
Lori's got it noted.
Okay.
Let me add a point or two here. It was passed, I think, in the vein of everyone having an opportunity to see what goes on in their county commission, and I think there was a resolution or something to that effect. The committee and chairmanship assignments will be given out next week. I feel that there are 2 that we need to have on site, at least for the first meeting. One is the sheriff's department. Every commissioner that is here that has not been through that jail needs to take a visit and see what it's like, so you can put things in proper perspective when you vote. And the next one would be the road department. You need to be familiar with what they do down there and what they accomplish and what they hope to do and the equipment that we have on site. As far as all the meetings down there, and it's going to be difficult to say because of the transparency that we need with the public. That was what was behind that to begin with. So we'll see where we are on that, but those are a lot of this will be left to the chairman of those committees. So that's why their chairman is to make a lot of these decisions. That's just my few remarks. You have anything else to add? Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, agenda items, there's no agenda. So we'll go down to communication from the audience. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak? A miracle is about to happen, people. I think we loaded him up the last time, didn't we? All right. The announcements, the next meeting, voting session, September the 19th at 12 p.m. at the courthouse here. Upcoming events, TCCA regional meeting is tonight at 6 p.m. at the Elks Lodge. Registration is at 5:30. Chamber coffee is tomorrow morning at 8:30 at the Pie Center. So if you haven't seen that Pie Center, I think most of you have, try to make that coffee tomorrow. We have a remarkable place down there. Is there anything else?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I probably failed on my part. That on Saturday, the tire take back, I told the times, but it will be at the Bradley County Sheriff's Office. I'll have signs and stuff up early to where everybody knows where to go. We'll take care of that. Thank you.
That's very good. Thank you. If there's nothing else, we are adjourned.